morning, IHSA football family. IHSA games of the week 3. And again, IHSA polls are released. Their polls will come out on this video as well after I am done through talking. Enjoy. It was an absolute pain in the ass. Classifications kick my ass. Always the first debut of the Deep Dish football polls. I absolutely hate classifications, especially schools moving up and schools moving down. All right, so if you don't know my name is Coach Big Pete, a.k.a. Pure Lineup of DeepDishFootball.com. Make sure you follow Deep Dish Football and Coach Big Pete on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Again, quick reminder, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. That's why you see all the yellow flags, the yellow ribbons everywhere. Again, I'm taking no tips, no donations, not for this month. Please, and I started in August, please send your donations and tips to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The link is on the bottom. St. Jude's Children's Hospital does a wonderful job, especially helping with families that can't cover to pay for therapy and all that other stuff. Check it out. St. Jude's Children's Hospital, they do a wonderful job. And again, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com if you have any questions, if you want questions to be read online during my shows. And again, for my shows, Deep Dish Football Live is on Wednesday, 6 p.m. DuPage Run Shoot Show with me and my co-host Patrick Codo. Make sure you follow DuPage Run Shoot Show with me and my co-host Patrick Codo on Twitter and Instagram. DuPage Run Shoot. We talk DuPage County football and some IHSA football as well. Also, again, the polls will be released after this video. Again, doesn't really matter. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I said this numerous times. The polls are there just to drive up ad revenue. I mean, that's what happened. That's why there's polls. You got to play the game on the field. Simple as that. Those are the rules. So don't. I love when people get offended in that. It's always the people that get angry with polls are always the ones that end up the first one and done in the playoffs. For some weird reason, it always happens that way. So don't jinx yourself, honestly. And since this is my last year, I'm going to call some people out too, by the way, if I get that. I'm just going to put it on Twitter and that stuff. But it always happens for some weird reason. Again, I don't know why teams pay a lot of attention to polls or playoff qualifiers or that stuff. Just win. If you win, you're in. Simple as that. Those are the rules. And again, I'll be doing polls from week 4 to week 8. Week 9, I will be doing the playoff qualifiers, all the teams in it. Again, it's just for ad revenue. To be honest with you, that's why all the articles on AP polls. Oh, look at that. It's ad revenue. I know coaches use them as a sign of disrespect to show it to players, but I mean, if you got to motivate your kid with what the press says or anything like that, or media says in that, and I'm a shitty member of the media, by the way, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So, again, win and you're in. That's the most important thing. Just win. That's all you got to do. All right, so we get into week 4, and again, we've had an offensive explosion. And again, we got some good games. We have some big games on Thursday due to ref shortage. So let's get started as I scroll down. Something new, IHSAFootball.com, the new official website for IHSA Football. Check it out, IHSAFootball.com. Smart move by the IHSA. I think it helps out a lot of people. It really helps out a lot of people. All right, so we got Barrington versus New Trier on the Thursday. Sort of an interesting game as New Trier is 1 and 2. And again, their defensive line is looking pretty good. McCary, he is a hell of a player for New Trier. Barrington is 3-0. Devin Van Ness, big game, 5 sacks, a blocked field goal. He was the player of the night for last night. And again, quick reminder, make sure I have your stats, people. Make sure I have your stats. Send me an email with your stats. DM me after the game to nominate your player for Deep Dish Football Player of the Night and for the Sunday conclusion article. Highland Park. Highland Park is in a surprising 2-1. So that should be an interesting game. Buffalo Grove 2-1. Very interested to see how Buffalo Grove does against the Glenbrook North team for Thursday. And again, we have a lot of Thursday games. Phillips versus Morgan Park. That's another big one right there. Main Cell versus Friend. Warren Township versus Stevenson's a huge game. Warren Township got their first big win against Libertyville. Stevenson lost a tough game to Lake Zurich, so Lake Zurich came back. Again, this is a good game for both teams, and I really think this Warren team is back on track now. This is a big time game. I'm telling you that right now. Watch out for it. Hoffman Estates is 2-1. They're back on track. Niles North is 2-1. Another interesting game as we talk about that. Libertyville versus Lake Forest. Lake Forest is 2-1. Libertyville 2-1. Can they come back after a tough loss to Warren Township? That's going to be very important in the NSC conference. Where are you? Morgan Park versus Phillips Thursday. Phillips 2-1. Morgan Park 2-1. I really like this Morgan Park team. They deserve a lot more respect than they're getting. They put up with a Mount Carmel team. I feel that they're a little bit disrespected. This Morgan Park team can make a strong run, and we could see a CPS team in the state finals. I believe it could be that Morgan Park team, and they're facing an old team that was the standard ring bearer for the CPS in Phillips. So this is going to be another interesting game. Mundelein is 3-0, taking on a Waukegan team, and again, Mundelein got a great shot at being 4-0. So definitely things you got to keep on. Prospect versus Glenbrook South. I think Prospect's going to get that one. Darefield's 3-0. Darefield's taking on Rolling Meadows. I think they're going to get the 4-0. Lincoln Park is 3-0, by the way. Big shout out to Lincoln Park, Coach Mack, and all them. So we get into the Friday night games. And for the Friday night games, Anna Wethersfield takes on Monmouth United in a big 1A matchup. And again, Anna Wethersfield is very interesting. It is a very interesting team this season. The Geese, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's the Geese. Again, love the running attack. It's going to be interesting to see how Monmouth United defends against it. Addison Trail 2-1 against the Hinsdale South. Can they get 3-1? We will see. Althoff Catholic. Althoff Catholic is 3-0, people. I'm telling you right now, this Althoff Catholic team is the real deal. And in 1A, this could be one of those Southern Illinois contenders that we talked about that we like seeing. That's not named East St. Louis. Let's go down to some more. Athens versus Auburn. Auburn's another big small school matchup in the Sangamon Conference. Athens is looking unbelievable at 3-0. Glenbard East, Aurora East is at 2-1. Again, big matchup, big time matchup for Aurora East and Glenbard East, of course. And a big rivalry game as always. Batavia versus St. Charles North. St. Charles North. They've been overlooking a little bit. Wheaton North last week. That might have been a little bit of attributed to our loss. They take on a tough Batavia Bulldogs team that's angry and pissed off, and they're playing good. They beat Lake Park last week. This Batavia Bulldog team has been very impressive. And again, Charlie Wepley is looking great. Again, Ryan Bowe, great. Their defensive line is starting to pick up things too. This defensive line did a great job against Lincoln Way East. And the St. Charles North team, again, bounce back and get that W. Geneva is on top of the Duquesne Conference. That is, again, wild. Absolutely wild. Bloomington's got a great shot at being 3-1, taking on Danville. Boylan Catholic, really like 3-0. They got a good shot at getting to 4-0. And this Boylan team, Connor Dennis is a kid that you must know. And at quarterback. And they're running back too as well. The running back's a star as well. I keep forgetting to mention him. Cahokia forfeits their game. Cahokia and Grand City forfeit their game due to a fight last Friday night. They both forfeit their games for disciplinary actions with their participation with the IHSA. So both teams have forfeited games due to a fight. Carterville is 3-0, people. They take on Heron. Heron needs to bounce back. Casey Westfield, another 3-0 team that we need to talk about more. Casey Westfield, very impressive. Champaign Centennial, 3-0. They're taking on a Champaign Central team. Champaign Central's got a great young quarterback. The Champaign Centennial team's defense has been absolutely swarming. Charleston, 3-0, everyone. What a great story Charleston is. Past seasons have not looked great for Charleston. They're taking on a tough Mamahood Seymour that absolutely crushed Quincy Notre Dame last week. This is going to be a big-time game for Charleston. This is, again, that foundation builder for our team. That's going to be another game that you got to check out for as well. Central and A&M had a tough loss last week. Can they bounce back against Clinton, who lost, I believe, to Eureka, if I'm not mistaken? Clinton did. Hinsdale Central 0-3. They need a win, and they're going against the Morton team that just came off of their first big win too. Roxana 3-0. Definitely another team that you got to check out. Mount Vernon versus Collinsville. Mount Vernon's had some bad luck at some of the games again, and they were close games. They're taking a tough Collinsville team. Talk about a game. Lena Winslow takes on Dakota. Can Dakota get the upset against the tough Lena Winslow team, who I believe is just absolutely the number one team in Class 1A? No doubt about that. No doubt about that in my mind. Simple as that. The Calp takes on Matteaville. The Calp's got a good shot at getting to 2-2. Dixon versus Genoa Kingston in a big time game. Dixon, I think it was the Dixon Dukes, if I'm not mistaken, taking on Genoa Kingston. Dixon's running attack has been unbelievable. Definitely, again, to check out. DGN takes on Proviso West. I think DGN's going to get the 4-0. DGS takes on Willowbrook. Willowbrook's got a great shot into 3-1. DuQuoin takes on Benton. DuQuoin is 3-0. Big shot to DuQuoin. United takes on Geneseo. Geneseo is a great story, 3-0. They got a great shot getting to that 4-0. But United's got that great quarterback at snapping. Eureka versus Gibson City, battle of 2-1s. Evergreen Park is 3-0. People taking on Bremen. Bremen has suffered a loss last week to Oak Forest. By the way, big shout to Oak Forest on a big win last week. Again, big interesting game. If Evergreen Park can get to 4-0, that is quite impressive against the tough Bremen team and that running offense. Johnston City takes on Fairfield, who's 1-2. Johnston City 3-0. Very impressed with Johnston City. I'm eating total crow for Johnston City. I'm impressed with some of the younger talent of the Johnston City. Fenwick takes on St. Francis. That's going to be a huge game. Fenwick at 2-1. St. Francis at 2-1. Big time proving game for St. Francis, and Fenwick had a tough loss last week, so we will see what happens. Flora versus El Dorado, always a big game with the Black Diamond. Flora needs a win. El Dorado, I thought they were going to be good. I mean, crowing that one too. Fieldcrest takes on Tri-Valley. That's always a tough game, especially against the tough Tri-Valley team that's 3-0. It'll be interesting to see how Fieldcrest defense does. It's going to be against that offense of Tri-Valley. Hanahu takes on Freeport. I think Hanahu's got a good shot at 4-0. I think they're going to be again, a top team that you must know about. Geneva takes on Lake Park 3-0, going against Lake Park that lost the game to Batavia. Can he get the big upset against Geneva? And Geneva's looking really good with Talon. Harlem 2-1. Harlem's got a good check-in 3-1. Again, another impressive defense. Rochelle taking on Harvard. Rochelle's probably going to get to 3-1. Rochelle looks good. Gensler is definitely a player that you got to keep an eye out for out of Rochelle. Hillcrest versus Oak Forest. Can Oak Forest continue that bandwagon and get to 2-2? That's going to be an interesting game right there as well. Homer Flossmoor, Bolingbrook, big game. Hey, Williams, he killed it. 6 touchdowns. Again, the big thing will be for Homer Flossmoor's defense. They got the big win over Wabanzi Valley last week. Can the defense stop that passing attack of Bolingbrook? And from Bolingbrook's defense, they got to do something because they didn't. It wasn't with them last week against the tough Naperville North team. Nazareth versus IC 3-0. Nazareth 0-3. Something's got to happen. But this IC team is just so difficult. And again, they're just a lot of people, and I hate to say this, have a lot of bad misconceptions about IC football that really don't understand the program alone. Again, it's a disciplined program. They don't do any of the other shithead stuff that other private schools do. IC is a great program, and they're taking on a tough Nazareth team. Nazareth needs to get that one win. So we will see what happens there. Bismarck Henning is 2-1. I don't think there was much surprise. St. Joseph Ogden's rolling 3-0. St. Joseph Ogden was very impressive at the Clifton 7-on-7. as they take on the IVC Grey Ghost. Cary Grove versus Jacobs. They had a tough loss last week with Jacobs. They take a tough Cary Grove team that everyone thought was going to be absolutely atrocious this year. I have no understanding why people thought Cary Grove was going to be atrocious. Are you that damn stupid? It's Cary Grove. Come on. Belvedere North 2-1. Nico Berlatoni, their running back, kid that you got to know about. He's going to be he's a stud. He's an absolute stud and a track star as well. Johnsburg 2-1 taking on the Marengo. Juliet Catholic takes on Niles Notre Dame. I don't understand the love for Niles Notre Dame. Everyone loves Niles Notre Dame. They're good, no doubt about that. But there's just too many questions for that Niles Notre Dame team. Oswego's 3-0. I think they're gonna get the 4-0. Kankakee versus Riverside Brookfield, an underrated game. 3-0 teams. Kankakee, they just look absolutely dominating. Quinoa takes on Bureau Valley. Bureau Valley, unbelievable win last week, taking on the Quinoa Boilermakers. That's going to be another interesting game. Self Elgin 3-0. I think they're going to get the 4-0. Plano versus LaSalle Peru. LaSalle Peru is playing a pissed off Plano team that lost to Sandwich. That's going to be a game to watch. Tinley Park 2-1 taking on Lamont 1-2. We will see what happens. There's a lot of positive things that I thought was going to happen for Lamont didn't happen. Leo 2-1 taking on a tough DePaul Rams team. Leo had a tough loss last week to Marion Academy. They need to get back on the train and they need that win to get to, again, thinking playoffs is the most important thing, and that'd be an important thing for Leo. Leroy takes on Tremont. I think Leroy's going to get that one. Proviso East for a slide in the battle of 1 and 2 versus 0 and 3. I think Proviso East is going to get that one. Limestone takes on Dunlap. I thought Limestone was going to be sort of impressive this year. Yeah. Dunlap is the real deal. No doubt about that with Sutter. Lincoln Way West takes on Lincoln Way Central. Lincoln Way Central is one of the best stories. 3-0, so game to look out for. Lincoln Way East takes on Bradley Bourbonnais. Two teams, 3-0. Bradley Bourbonnais almost got it last year. Lincoln Way East is impressive. Bradley Bourbonnais, if they can get that upset, that's going to be huge. Lyle takes on Cole City. They got to win that one. But Cole City's just too much. Benson he killed it last week. Lockport versus Sandburg, Battle of Southern Suburban Schools. Lockport 3-0. Sandburg, things are looking up. But this Lockport defense is just absolutely impressive. But that's going to be definitely a big game in the state of Illinois. Lincoln against Peoria Manual. I think Lincoln can get to 3-1, which is pretty impressive for the team and Coach Silky. Carmel takes on a tough Marmion Academy team. They got a good shot at getting the 4-0. I'm very impressed with this Carmel Cozer team. This is definitely a team that they keep progressing every week. They keep getting better and better and better. Christ the Kings 3-0. They take on a Bishop McNamara team that's 1-2. That's another interesting game. Metamoras 2-1 taking on a Morden team that is 3-0. I really like the Morden Potters this year, so definitely a team to check out. Merrill Forsyth takes on Riverton. I think Merrill Forsyth's going to get to that 4-0 spot. Mater Day takes on Madison. I think Mater Day is going to get to that 3-1 spot. Murfreesboro is a team that needs to be talked about more, by the way. Monticello, Bloomington Central Catholic, big game. And especially for Bloomington Central Catholic, that just looked absolutely impressive for Colin Hayes. And just an impressive offensive line for such a small school. Definitely a thing you got to check out for. Montini Bennett battle in DuPage County with Montini. They got the win, keeping that train going till they get to that playoff clincher. That was been a problem. They underestimated opponents. Montini's not doing that last year and the year before that. Montini's not doing that this year. The Spending team is also a hell of a team. Ahern's at the tight end. Impressive offensive line for this young Bennett squad, so definitely keep an eye out for. Morris takes on Woodstock. I think Morris is going to get that forward to that 4-0 spot. Mount Zion, Taylorville, big game, 2-3-0 teams. Taylor Vale's Odom's quarterback is an absolute stud. Definitely keep an eye out for this game. Naperville North takes on Naperville Valley in a big-time rivalry game in Naperville. Naperville North got the big win. They're walking tall after that big win. They're taking on a Naperville Valley team that needs that W. Naperville Valley's been they've had a lot of issues, and just again, mental mistakes are a big part of problem in football, and that's what I like about football, just the mental mistakes. So we'll see. It's going to be a good game, interesting game. Normal Community, a battle of the movable object going against the dominated force of Normal taking on Peoria. Peoria's defense put up 90 points, I want to say, last week. They take on Normal's defense. What a game. Normal University takes on MacArthur. Another interesting game. Can Normal get to 3-1? Can they stop that stud freshman running back of the Decatur MacArthur? We will see what happens. North Boone versus Bryan. Again, North Boone defensive line. They got to handle it over that Bryan impressive offensive line. Sycamore 3-0 taking on a tough Ottawa team. That's going to be a game right there. Peatone versus Wilmington is always big, especially the old. I'm an old school Interstate 8 coach. Wilmington looks impressive. Peatone, they needed that win last week. They got it. Two teams, 2-1. We will see what happens. Definitely looking out for that Peatone defensive line against that Wilmington offensive line. Paris takes on Lawrenceville. Lawrenceville's 3-0. Big shout out to Lawrenceville. This Paris team, again, I love that offensive line. We will see what happens. Paxton Buckley Loda takes on Pontiac. Paxton Buckley Loda, again, another team that you got to check out in that small school division. Pinckneyville is 0-3. I thought that they were going to be a lot better. That's West Aurora's 3-0. Big shout out to West Aurora. Juliet West 2-1, taking on Plainfield North, a 1-2 team. I really like this Tiger team with Juliet West. Again, they're building towards something. This is a big proving game. And Plainfield North doesn't screw around when they have a losing record. They don't screw around. So this is going to be one of those very interesting games. A lot of people in see Julia West and a lot of people in see West Oregon that hot, and they're hot now. Quincy takes on Moline, another big time game in that Western Illinois part. Quincy's 3-0, and an underrated 7A. They can shock a lot of people in playoffs. Prairie Ridge 3-0, taking on Huntley 3-0. Do not sleep on the Huntley Red Raiders this season. Prairie Ridge. A lot of people in the Fox Valley Prairie Ridge, Cary Grove, they're not going to do anything this year. Guess what? They did. So don't overlook them. No doubt about that. Yeah. Herscher, Reed Custer. Herscher needs a win bad. I think Reed Custer's going to get to that 2-2 spot. Peoria, Notre Dame. Big rivalry game against Peoria Richwoods. And again, Peoria Notre Dame, tough loss last week. We'll see if they can bounce back. Ridgewood takes on St. Bede, 2-1. Ridgewood had a tough loss to Dwight last week. Can he get the win? Rochester, Jacksonville. Rochester 3-0. Jacksonville lost last week. With Jacksonville, is they got to score. And because this Rochester's defense is not letting up anyhow. So definitely, again, check out. Stillman Valley, Rockford Christian. Stillman Valley, again, I think they're going to make it into the playoffs this year. They're 2-1. Rock Ridge is very, very interesting. I really like this Rock Ridge team, especially Dean with them. Definitely a team that you got to keep an eye out for in 2A. Richmond Burden takes on Sandwich. That's what the game that I wanted to get to. Richmond Burden is the games that they've been able to put up, especially with their line, is not a surprise to anyone. What I'm impressed with is their wide receivers. Sandwich, just a great story, 3-0 after unbelievable last season. Sandwich has a great shot, and I really think this is Richmond Burden comes favored into this game. Can Sandwich get the upset? It'll be interesting. Seneca. They're playing at Elmwood Park. They've got a good shot to get in 4-0. Going down more. Providence Catholic versus St. Lawrence, always a big game, and always talking about when we talk about the Chicago Catholic League. St. Rita versus Mount Carmel. Whoa. I thought a lot of people thought that St. Rita was going to be 2-1. I thought so too. But they're 3-0, and they're taking on a Mount Carmel team that's getting better every week. St. Rita's team, offensive line, just absolutely impressive. And again, I don't see a favorite in this game. I think this game is going to be this is going to be a ground and pound game. And again, I think with Mount Carmel, it's going to be their passing attack that will get the better advantage of St. Rita. For St. Rita, it's going to be their ground attack. So it'll be interesting. But I think that Mount Carmel's going to start running out the ball first against the St. Rita defense. Taft and Lane's always a big game. Taft 1-2, Lane Tech 2-1. Another game to keep an eye out for as well. Fulton takes on Stockton. Big game in NUIC. Streeter versus Mantino. Streeter needs that win. So does Mantino. That's a survivor's battle right there in that game. Looking down, going down. Normal West versus Urbana. I think Normal West is going to get that W. Dwight's got a good shot at being 3-1 over our Welfare Christian team. Naperville Central versus Wabanzi Valley. Battle of 2-1 teams. Very interesting looking into DuPage Valley Conference. Wabanzi Valley, tough loss. The home loss. Can they bounce back against the Naperville Central teams? Jack Cook, who is on fire. Williamsville takes on Olympia. Big game in the Saginaw Conference. For me, I'm just overall impressed with Williamsville's line. Olympia also the line. They lost a big guy to SIU last, Blaine Haley. So we'll see what the Spartans team can do. But again, I'm very impressed with the Spartans team. But it's going to be a battle for the big state in the state of Illinois for 3A, Class 3A. Woodstock Marion Central Catholic takes on Chicago Christian. They need that win, and Chicago Christian needs that win. A battle of two teams that need that big win, especially with playoff points. Marion Central Catholic at 1-2, taking on a 2-1 team Chicago Christian that lost to a Wayne Academy team, and the Wayne Academy team is on top of that Chicago Christian Conference. So that should be an interesting game. Belleville East 3-0, taking on the East St. Louis team 1-2 that lost to that Texas team last week. Big game. I think a lot of people are going to favor East St. Louis in that game. I don't think anyone's surprise or chagrin. Camp Point Central takes on Unity Payson. I think Camp Point Central is going to get that W as soon as possible. Glenbard West versus Lions Township is always a big rivalry game. Glenbard West, tough loss last week to DGN. They got to bounce back, and this Lions team is not a team that you want to try to get the bounce back against. That's going to be a big-time battle. So that is it. Simeon versus Kenwood. Kenwood needs that win. Simeon also needs that win. Kenwood, again, they were the newspaper darlings. Well, not anymore. But they got the win last week. They need that win this week. All right. Make sure you follow Coach Big P and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Deep Dish Football Live is at 6 p.m. tonight, Wednesday. DuPage Run Shoot Show with me and my co-host Patrick Codo. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Is tomorrow, Thursday. Saturday, 9 a.m., breakfast with Coach Big Pete. And again, once the game's end, make sure I have your stats. Nominate your player for player of the night in the state of Illinois. Also, email me stats at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Direct message me, tweet at me, X at me, Facebook, DM, all that. Please get those stats to me. If you can't get those stats to me Saturday for my Sunday conclusion articles, I highlight players around the state of Illinois. They had unbelievable games. Again, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And again, it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, September. That's why you see all the other things. If you like my work, I'm taking no tips, no donations this month. Please send your donations to St. Jude Children's Hospital. You will see the link on the bottom. And as well, here are my polls from 1A to 8A. Get pissed off, get angry at me. I love it. Have a great day and enjoy some games. See you on Deep Dish Football Live.